Being a Longhorn is opportunity, pride, achievement, community, safety. Being a Longhorn is a choice to become a hero, to lead, to thrive in any setting. Being a Longhorn means immersing yourself in fine arts, learning at your own pace in Montessori, starting your path to college in elementary, earning a college degree in high school. The pride of being a Longhorn lives on long after graduation. Educate, empower, inspire.
Hi, good evening. My name is Alicia Davis, Director of Family and Community Engagement for Cedar Hill ISD, and I welcome you to our 18th installment of our Digital Parent University series. This evening, we are going to discuss the Texas Success Initiative Assessment, and we have some wonderful people from both academics and counseling services. But I would like to let you know that we are going to have an upcoming Digital Parent University session on the schedule changes for Cedar Hill High School that are going to be taking place. So please tune in at 6 p.m. May the 27th for that. And of course, as always, we appreciate you for tuning in on these evenings to get this valuable information. Tonight, we have our presenters and panelists. We have Dr. Charlotte Ford. She is the Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction. We have Dr. Courtney Jackson. She is the Executive Director of Counseling Services. We have Brian Ward, who is our Testing, Accountability, Research, and Social Studies Coordinator for the district. I thank you very much for being here. And we will start it off with Mr. Ward.
Thank you so much, Ms. Davis. Parents, thank you so much for joining us this evening. As you know, one of Cedar Hill's biggest commitments is to our students and making sure that our graduates are college, career, military ready when they leave us. As part of this, the Texas Success Initiative 2.0 assessment is one of those hurdles that our scholars need to meet in order to go into college and take college level coursework. So the Texas Success Initiative Assessment 2.0 is a series of placement tests for students who will be enrolling in public colleges and universities in Texas. The test help Texas schools determine whether a student is ready for college level coursework in the areas of reading, writing, and math. So the TSIA 2 is a computer-based assessment for the English language arts and reading and for the math, both assessments. They contain two parts. The first is a college readiness classification section. This is the actual college readiness placement assessment. There is a second section, which is a diagnostic test for both assessments. However, any scholar who meets the college readiness score on the CRC, the college readiness classification, will not be forwarded to the diagnostic section of the exam. However, if a scholar does not meet the college readiness score, they will automatically be moved into the diagnostic section. This will allow us to get more pinpoint information on each scholar so that we can design programs to help them become college, career, military ready. Next slide. So as I said, there are two separate assessments. There's the TSIA 2 ELAR assessment, and this combines multiple choice reading comprehension and analysis section, a multiple choice writing section, and a 300 to 600 word essay section. Now, in order for a scholar to be considered college ready, they will need to score between a 945 and a 990 on the multiple choice section, and on the essay score a 5 or higher. Now, as I said, if they go past the initial college readiness assessment and into the diagnostic, they still have an opportunity to become college ready. On that diagnostic test, if they score a 5 or a 6, and if their essay is a 5 or higher, they will also be considered college ready. Now, on the math, the TSIA 2 math assessment is a multiple choice assessment, and it's made up of equal parts quantitative reasoning, algebraic reasoning, geometry and spatial reasoning, and probability and statistics. Now, their multiple choice section needs to be between a 945 and a 990. If they meet the score, they will be considered college ready. If they do not, they will be moved to the diagnostic test score, where if they score a test score of 6 or higher, they will be considered college ready as well. So now, how is this going to look in Cedar Hill? So we are dedicated to make sure that we get as many of our scholars into the TSIA pipeline so that we can identify skills. So for the first year, we will be offering this to grades 8 through grades 12 as such. So if you can go to the next slide. For our grade 11 and 12 scholars who are still needing to meet the CCMR TSIA requirement, they will test the ELAR in school on May 11th for ELAR, and on Wednesday, May 12th, they will take the math assessment. Now, many of our 11th and 12th grade scholars have already met expectations on TSIA, and they will not be required to retest on this assessment. So if they've already met their criteria, then they will not need to be retested. For the first time, we are moving our TSIA down to include more of our scholars. And so for our 8th, 9th, and 10th grade scholars, on Wednesday, May 19th, in school, they will take the ELAR assessment. Again, any scholar who's already met the ELAR TSI requirements will not be required to retest. But our 8th, 9th, and 10th will be given the opportunity to take the ELAR section on May 19th. Now, because of the level of math required, only our grade 10, collegiate and ECHS grade 9 scholars, and a grade 9 scholar who is currently enrolled in Algebra 2, all those scholars will take the math assessment on Thursday, May 20th. Again, any scholar who's already met the expectation will not be required to complete the exam. So, for our virtual scholars, for those wishing to complete the TSIA 2 assessment this year, they will need to complete the assessment in person and on campus. They will need to let the campus know that they'll be taking the assessment, and they will do so by completing a Google form that will be shared by campuses in the upcoming days. Now, for technology, as I said, this is a computer-based test, and scholars will need to bring their district-issued Chromebooks, that's the most recent district-issued Chromebooks, fully charged to campuses so that they may complete the assessment. Unfortunately, personal technology is not able to be used on the assessment at this time. So now, with a little bit more information on why this test is so important to our scholars, I'll turn it over to Dr. Courtney Jackson. Dr. Jackson?
Dr. Jackson, you're muted.
Oh, my apologies. Good evening, everyone. And again, thank you so much, Mr. Ward, for that great overview of this assessment that our scholars will be taking starting next week. So parents, tonight I just want to give you a little bit of information on why it is very important for your scholars to take the test seriously and to do well when we begin administering it next week. First of all, this test is directly aligned with one of our district goals. It is our goal to have every one of our scholars leave us CCMR. And what that stands for is college, career, and military ready. Basically, that's just saying we want to ensure that every one of our scholars is set up to be successful in whatever post-secondary endeavor they decide to achieve. And then also, it's one of the indicators, this test is one of those indicators that will determine if our scholars are CCMR met. So we use this test to determine if we have done what we need to do to ensure our scholars are prepared for next level. And it also provides some diagnostic data. So we use this data from this test to ensure that we have met all of the standards to ensure our scholars have what they need as they progress through high school to be on track for college readiness, their career, or any other post-secondary endeavor. And it just also ensures that our scholars have the prereq skills for college level coursework. Most Texas colleges and universities will require this as part of their application process. So I know that really is about our seniors and our juniors, but as we look forward to filling out those college applications, we want to make you aware that those colleges will be requesting TSI assessment scores. And the reason they do that is because those scores eliminate the need for some of our scholars to take some of the remedial courses as they enter college. So the passing of this test and being successful, meeting the college ready score, eliminates the need for extra courses when they enter college. It is also required for the scholars that are going to be participating in our dual credit courses. So as we are very excited that we'll be offering it to our 8th graders, one of the reasons the district decided to move this assessment down to 8th grade is because several of our 8th graders are looking at our choice programs, particularly the collegiate program or the ECA program at the high school. Both of those crosswalks for those courses require dual credit coursework. Most of the dual credit courses require a successful passing score on our TSIA assessment. So we want to make sure that we give our scholars ample opportunities to be successful on this test to be ready for our choice programs. Okay, next slide. And so what happens if your scholar does not meet the scores that Mr. Ward mentioned earlier? For our 12th graders, we have a backup method to ensure that our scholars have met the curriculum needs to be CCMR met. And again, that's college, career, military ready. And we've already enrolled them and they're currently taking our college prep courses. So if you review your senior's transcript, you may see college prep math or college prep ELAR integrated into the statistics course or the English 4. That course is designed to ensure our scholars have an opportunity to review the curriculum necessary to be college career ready upon graduation. Now for our 11th graders who are taking the test, if they're not successfully met with the score that Mr. Ward mentioned, then they will have an opportunity this summer to meet those requirements through the Texas College Bridge program. That is a program that the state is now offering for free to districts and to scholars across Texas to ensure that they have another opportunity to meet the college career ready requirements. So if your scholar is not at the cut score that we mentioned, then you will be receiving more information on the Texas College Bridge program, which we will be offering through our summer learning. And then for grades 10 through 8, it is also very important that they do well because it's going to limit, if they don't meet those scores, it will limit their opportunity to take some of our advanced academics courses as they are required, as I mentioned before, for dual credit and some other advanced placement courses. So that's some of the reasons you would like for your kid to be successful on this exam. And now I turn it over to Dr. Charlotte Ford, who is our Assistant Superintendent of Academics, and she'll tell you a little bit more about how your scholar can prepare for this test.
And thank you for the introduction, Dr. Jackson. How can your scholar prepare for this exam? Mr. Ward, in his description of the test, gave you an example of what to expect once you take the exam. So please go through and take a look at practice exam so that you can be familiar with the test format upon test day. Also, take the practice exam so that you can study the concepts in which you are deficient. A lot of scholars want to focus on their areas in which they are comfort, areas that they know, and they want to continue to practice in those areas. I challenge you to practice the concepts that you're struggling in. Do some research to find ways for you to get the information and understand a little better. There are a lot of videos online to help you with the math concepts. So there are also free resources to assist you with preparation for the exam as well. I have listed a couple of sites to give you some examples of free resources to help you with the assessment. You have full assessment prep exams. You have some broken down by math, some broken down by English language arts and reading. And there are also practice exams on here. So again, in order for your scholar to prepare, have them to be familiar with the assessment, focus on the areas in which they are deficient and continue to practice, so that when they get to exam day, they are ready to go. They're already familiar with the test and that they will be successful on this exam. Some of the resources also that I have here are resources from community colleges or other colleges in the state of Texas. And in these videos, they actually have videos from the professors to stress the importance of the TSI and how important it is for you to pass the exam. So take an opportunity with you and your scholar to go through and take a look at some of these free online resources in an effort to prepare for the TSI the day of the exam.
All right, let me unmute myself. All right, so this is the time that we want you to submit your questions, if you have any. Now that you have seen this presentation, you have more information on the Texas Success Initiative Assessment 2. Get your phones out, scan this QR code, submit your questions to Thought Exchange so we can make sure that our academics and counseling services team members can answer your questions, and we'll make sure that we also send out the results and the answers to those questions after you submit them. The other thing is the resources that Dr. Ford did share. We are also going to share those with you this evening. So you will have those in order to look at those practice tests and all of that. So it is important, those resources, for you to be able to click on them. So instead of just see them, so we'll make sure you have them. So again, you will scan this QR code. Let us know what questions you have about this exam, this assessment, so that we can get your questions answered. All right, and now with that, I always like to say thank you. Does anyone have anything else they would like to share this evening?
I do. I want to wish the scholars luck on their assessments that are coming up this assessment season. Good luck on your STAR exam, your EOC, your AP exams, SAT, ACT, all of the exams that you are taking to end the year. So I wish you luck. And I know that you guys are adequately prepared to be successful on your exams, and good luck again.
Thank you so much. All right, and everyone knows I put this at the bottom when it's time to go. So thank you so much for joining us this evening. And again, May the 27th, we will have another Digital Parent University on the upcoming schedule changes to Cedar Hill High School. All right, thank you again. Have a great rest of your evening.
Have a great evening. Thank you.